Hello and welcome out to everyone the rest of the way and to another edition of NXT Out of 10 with Heatwave coming up on August 24. WWE has a couple of weeks left to build the card into something fans will be interested to see, with matches this week including Nia Jax taking on Tia Hale, the North American Championship on Lyman Solrika taking on Paxley. But we started things off with Blake Monroe taking on Kalani Jordan. Lani went after Blake to get the match going immediately. They did a good job telling the story of Jordan feeling like she had something to prove. The bout had a quick pace and ends up with some physicality, but Grace ends up chasing Monroe away after only 6 minutes of action. The ref counted Monroe out as Grace chased her to the parking lot where Blake escaped in an SUV. This started strong but didn't really have enough time to get going before a count out finish, which was a disappointing way to end it, I was got to say. So yeah, unfortunately gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Before Uriah Connors and Kale Dixon got their biggest opportunity to date when they challenged Hank and Tank for the tag titles, and they didn't even need to attack anyone with a chair to make it happen. Connors and Dixon came in hot and almost won right away, but Hank kept ticking out of the moves that they were hitting while Tank recovered at ringside. The Chants made a comeback after a couple of minutes and began controlling the pace with their power and size, but Connors and Dixon never allowed themselves to be dominated. This kept the fight competitive. After a short but fast-paced contest, Hank and Tank retained by hitting their finisher on Dixon. Unfortunately, this second match in a row, it felt like it didn't get enough time. Darkseid came out and attacked all four men and Andre Chase as lights flickered. That kind of hurt the point of it, which is a bit of a shame because I felt like we could have done more with this match. So yeah, 5 out of 10 from me. Lexis King has then been trying to prove Braun is a fraud for a week, and the two finally met, and the crowd was fully behind Miles as the two men began trading Kate down the counters. Much like the first two matches, there wasn't a lot of methodical offense. It was as Jacob Fatu likes to say, all gas, no brakes. Braun has had the upper hand until King cut off the dive out of the ring with a running knee. That sent us into break when the former Brian Pillman Jr. took control. King stomped on Braun's head and again the steel sets right when the show came back from a break. The ref checked him but determined he was to continue. This felt like a pretty typical NXT match, which is neither a good nor bad thing. All it means is that it had a quicker pace than what we usually get on the main roster, which can have its pros and cons. Braun scored the win with his finisher, which was essentially the zigzag dog siggler used. This was a solid match for a clean finish. It probably won't be the last time we see these two matches meet, so yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. We then got Tia Hale, one of the smallest competitors in NXT, with a huge challenge this week, taking on Nia Jax. The former women's champion had no problem taking control of her less experienced opponent, but Hale used her speed and agility to get some offense in here and there. This was the usual David Goliath kind of bout. Jax did her usual thing of dominating her smaller opponent, while they had occasional comeback that were eventually halted by the Annihilator. Jax got the victory, which was expected. This was not be a one-match feud, so Hale will probably get the victory in the next encounter. It might take a while because Jax gave an interview about Lash Legend. Legend came out and got security broken up. That's kind of a match I'd be interested to see. But yeah, this alone gets a 5 out of 10. Obafemi said he's the most dominant champion in NXT history next, and said he's beaten everyone there is to beat before Trick Williams came to the ring. Javon Evans got involved. He suggested that he and Williams fight for the next shot at Femi's title, which Femi loved. Moose Rowan said he would win the TNA title from Trick. As they were all attacking, Darkseid came out and attacked all of them. This was one of those segments that had a lot going on, but in the end didn't really accomplish much. As we then moved on to Stacks attacking Yokishi Inamura Jr.'s entrance to gain the advantage of the match. Once the match got started, Stacks was right back on the attack. The Romero star regained his footing while Stacks was taking too long on the top rope and started to go on a roll. He threw Stacks across the ring and began unloading on with chops. In the end, Grace and Briggs helped Stacks get a quick win, making this another match that felt way too short and yeah, kind of a bit pointless. So 5 out of 10. Ethan Page then bragged about beating Santino and Morella last week. Taylor Heights interrupted his rendition of the Canadian national anthem before surprisingly Chelsea Green and the Secret Herzer for 5. She admonished Heights for interrupting a man she called one of the great Canadians. It looked like this will lead to a mixed tag match down the line. The main event for this week saw Ruka with Zaria by her side put her North American Championship on line against Paxley, who had the culling in her corner. Ruka then came out of the gate strong, but Paxley quickly turned the tables and took control. Zaria tried to get Sean Spears to stop interfering. It led to Ruka taking out everyone in a culling with a moonsault from the top right to the floor. This week's show had a low bar clear, so this was easily the best match of the night. They brought a lot of energy to the ring and had some great spots, utilising Ruka's high-flying ability. Unfortunately, Ruka fell to the floor when attempting to move, but she landed fine and got right back up to the top. This led to Paxley hitting a spinning neckbreaker over the top. Jax and Legend have been fighting all the way to the ring and continued their brawl. In the confusion, Ruka was able to hit the Soul Catcher for the win. Yeah, this was definitely the highlight of the night on what wasn't a great show. So yeah, I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. Good stuff, and I'm very much intrigued by Jax v Legend feud as well. So intrigued by that, yeah. This week's NXT was packed, but I think it was towards its own detriment. Most of the matches we saw felt rushed and too short, and it was only the main event had a decent stuff. But Jackson Legends having a nearly 2 hour long brawl was a funny addition to the show. It feels like a weird period for NXT at the moment. I'm just hoping that we can get the card right for Heatwave coming up in a few weeks. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.